Welcome, friends. Today in the kitchen we're going to do something a little bit special. We're going to do the 1880s Pemberton Coca-Cola formula. And so Pemberton is the guy who invented Coca-Cola. He invented Coca-Cola in the hopes that he could wean himself off of morphine with cocaine. In the end, it didn't work for him. So he came up with this formula, and this is out of one of his notebooks, and it is by no means the recipe or formula that Coca-Cola uses today, and they're very adamant about that. But by making this, it should give us a little bit of insight into where this product started and what it tasted like at the beginning. And often what things taste like way back then is nothing like they do today. So I started out with some high proof alcohol. You want to get the highest proof that you possibly can. And so what I've got is 76% or 152 proof grain alcohol. That's the highest that I can get where I live. If you can get higher, make sure it's food grade, make sure that you can drink it, because you can get yourself into very solid trouble if you don't make sure it's food grade. Which brings us to the next thing, which are these essential oils. Now, I first wanted to do this back in 2011, 8, 9 years ago. I heard a broadcast, This American Life, on NPR, and it was all about this formula. And it really intrigued me, and I wanted to do it. And at that time, everyone said to me, don't bother. You can't get all the ingredients. And they were right. I couldn't get all the ingredients. And you know what? I still can't get all of the ingredients. So these are food grade oils that you need to get. They're in this form pretty toxic. You don't want to touch them. You don't want to get them on you. And there was one in particular that I couldn't get, and that is neroli oil. And a tiny little bottle of neroli oil like this is 5 mils of neroli oil, was $480 US to get this little bottle. And the company said to me, oh, well, we can get it for you at a cheaper break. If you buy 400 pounds, it's 1.2 million. I'm like, I don't think I need 400 pounds of neroli oil. So the first thing we need to do is measure out tiny little amounts of these essential oils and mix them into this alcohol. And so I've got these tiny little syringes, they're 1 milliliter each, and we'll measure these out, being very careful not to cross-contaminate, not to get it on your hands, and to get the right amounts. So the oils we're working with are orange, lemon, nutmeg, coriander, neroli, and cinnamon oil. So the first substitution is bitter orange oil instead of neroli. Everyone seems to say that's going to be fine. So this is our 7X formula. This is the 7X flavoring, and we're only going to use a tiny little bit of this for a couple gallons of Coca-Cola. Very tiny little bit. The next substitution that you have to make is the coca part. It is illegal to have coca leaves in North America, and you need coca leaf extract. There's no cocaine in Coca-Cola anymore. They pull that out in a factory, apparently in New Jersey, and then only put in the bittering compounds from the coca leaf. But since we can't have coca leaves, I worked around a little bit, and I found another extract that has sort of the same flavonoid bittering compounds, and I'm going to give that a try. I think you should probably just leave it out, though. I'm a little worried. Obviously, that wasn't a real coca leaf. I'm a little worried that I'm not going to get it quite right. So now we move on to the sugar syrup component. So we're going to start out with some water in a big pot. And the next thing is to weigh out the sugar. So I know that everyone has been freaked out for years that, you know, perhaps way back there was cocaine in Coca-Cola. I would posit that the real killer in this soft drink is the sugar. Like, that's a lot of sugar. So in it goes, into the water, and we just want to dissolve that. We're making a simple syrup. And so we'll just gently heat this and stir it until the sugar has dissolved. While the sugar is dissolving, I am going to juice some limes. So the sugar is pretty much dissolved, and now we just add in caramel. Okay, the sugar syrup is dissolved. We didn't bring it up to a boil. We didn't really get it hot, just warm enough that the sugar crystals disappear into the water. Next in is vanilla. I've got my notes open because I just want to make sure I get this right. So in goes the vanilla, and I normally don't measure vanilla. I free pour, but somehow this time I think it's important to, to measure. This is all to the point where if you were using extract of coca, you would put it in. We're not putting anything in, and I decided not to put anything in its place. So next in is the caffeine extract. Now, I know it's called coca after the coca leaf and cola after the cola nut, but by 1880, 1885, Pemberton already wasn't using cola nut. He was only using citrate of caffeine. So directly, he had decided that it wasn't the flavor that he was after, it was the caffeine that he was after. So he stopped using cola nut at that point, and there's no reason to believe that Coca-Cola is using cola nut anymore. So it's just straight caffeine mixture, 3.75 mils. And apparently this is about 5 times the amount of caffeine that is in cola beverages today at the store, or any beverage today at the store. Really high caffeine. Once that goes in, the lime juice, so freshly squozen lime juice, and citric acid. Citric acid is something that is not used in today's Coke. You can tell that because they use phosphoric acid, I think it is on the label. They do list the acid that they use. And that's it for the sugar syrup. Okay, so we've got our 7X flavor mixture and our sugar water caramel mixture. And there's a bit of math involved because you only use a very little bit, like 1.5 milliliters per liter of sugar syrup. So I need to measure how much sugar syrup we have and then determine how much 7X to mix into it. So it looks like 2.25 liters. So we need 3 milliliters of 7X. Let's see. Living dangerously. There we go. Mix that in. Let's just give that a straight up taste. So this is really concentrated. Let's just see if it's even edible. Huh. I can see where that's going. Let's see what Julie thinks.
So Glenn, a little enthusiastic on that first pour.
Little enthusiastic on the first pour. Well, I mean, I wanted to make sure that the carbonation mixed with the syrup, and also I've overcarbonated that keg of water.
It is a little... I'd say you got a kind of a brownish...
Got a brown liquid
tone. It smells very...
Interesting.
There's an oversmell.
Yeah.
Like there's a smell to it that,
yeah. I get a lime. I do get a lime flavor, overwhelming lime flavor.
Okay, that's the... It's sweet.
It is sweet. It is very sweet.
A little too sweet for me. It's a refreshing beverage. I like it.
It's not Coke.
I think it's too sweet. Oh. Oh, no.
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 No, but you can...
It would be considered a cola brown beverage.
Yeah.
It would go well with people who like rum and Coke. It would do just fine.
Pepsi? Do you think it's like Pepsi? I don't think I've ever had a Pepsi. I don't think I've ever had a Pepsi.
Yeah, you probably have. How could you not? Anyway, it doesn't matter. No.
No, but it's... I can see how this evolved into Coke. This doesn't have the bite that Coke has. There's
the bitter.
That sort of, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's a lovely beverage, though. I would just
I would
make it less sweet.
Yeah, I would chop out some of the sugar. I would definitely chop out some of the sugar. And maybe up the amount of 7x. So an interesting experiment. I think it's a worthwhile beverage.
Yeah, there's the funny part, right? I mean, as much as we look very,
It is
somber,
yeah.
it's like we're not, yeah.
It is a worthwhile beverage. I would definitely drink it. I don't know that it's would stand up beside a Coke. But in order to actually test this, we are going to do the ultimate Pepsi challenge. And we're going to test this against...
You just dated yourself.
I know.
Again.
Well, I am part of the Pepsi generation. We're gonna do this. Coke and Pepsi, Canadian Coke and Pepsi,
Okay.
Mexican Coke and Pepsi, which
Okay.
are
There's
just
a couple
cane
versions of that,
sugar.
Yeah.
Um,
Mexican. Okay, the actual Mexican
Yeah.
versus Mexican colas,
Yes.
like the
We probably find a Jarritos. See if we can find the Jarritos
Jarritos?
Mexican Cola.
what's the other one? The cola.
Inca Cola.
Inca Cola.
And
The other one. Yeah.
wild card, thumbs up. We'll throw in a
Okay.
thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Another cola type beverage
uh,
from around the world.
and so we'll do a blind tasting of all
All
of them.
The reality is, all of the large manufacturers of beverages have multiple versions of their beverages that they sell in
different-
multiple nations because everybody has a slightly different palate
Yeah.
depending upon what they're eating and what they're
Yeah.
matching it with, right? So there's so many versions.
So if
There
you
you go.
want to try the 1886 Pemberton Coca-Cola recipe, give it a shot. I mean, there's no cocaine in it,
No, no.
so that might change the.
That's not. It's not quite as exciting
No, I
as
know.
it might have been long ago with that little shot of cocaine in it.
But I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good, and the fact that we now have 2.5 liters of syrup.
I feel like we're gonna have to host a children's party between all the other beverages we've made recently.
Yeah,
Pop and chips for everybody.
2.5 liters. Yeah, we've got a lot of this to go through. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.
Joy.